light middleweight title when it was taken away from Paul Silky Jones of Sheffield. The challenger, Ronald Winky Wright, in the grey shorts. Both speedy southpaws this. McKart, the home man, Wright from St. Petersburg in Florida, with a record of 34 wins and just 1 defeat, and that was in his previous attempt to become a world champion against Julio Cesar Vasquez, when he was floored 6 times and did very well to hear the final bell on that occasion. But he's a boxer with some talent, this Ronald Wright, and he could make an argument of it with McKart, who has his back to at the moment, the defending champion.
Yes, this is a very good, even match. Both southpaws, both long, rangy, fast, clever fighters. So it's a good matchup here. It looks as if Wright is just getting the better of it at the start. He's trying to push McKart back, get McKart on the back foot.
Very speedy with that southpaw jab is Ronald Wright. If you're wondering why he has the nickname of Winky, well, apparently he's been called it since he was a baby, when he was apparently winking at the nurses in his cot. An apocryphal story, I'm sure, but that's what they've told us anyway.
But he's working very well here. The southpaw jab is very quick from Wright. He likes to force the fight behind that jab.
Good right hand there from Wright as well. And the body shot too. He does have blurringly fast hands. But McKart is known to have a fair bit of speed as well. 28 wins against 1 defeat for the champion Bronco McKart. His only defeat was against Clayton Williams on points in his 8th fight, and that was only over 4 rounds. Won this title, stopping the veteran Puerto Rican Santos Cardona in 9 rounds.
And McKart just falling short with his right hook there. He's got a good right hook to look out for, especially to the body, and he likes to whip it back to the head.
Rapier-like, that jab of Wright's. Somehow, and sometimes, there's criticism and a fair bit of yawning whenever you get 2 southpaws together, but there hasn't been any shortage of action in this first round, Glenn.
No, they started this round very well indeed. It's very sharp. You look as if they've done a lot of work with southpaws. They're really mixing it up good here.
Well, I thought Wright did enough to take that opening round, Glenn.
Yes, he was getting off the quicker, the southpaw jab. I think his plan is to push McKart back, to take the fight, to keep him on the back foot, not really let him get set. And he managed that in the first round. I think that was a good first round for Wright.
We ain't coming out here giving up nothing. Just look, keep them hands up. Be smart. Back him up. Both of them. Take that jab away.
McKart is managed by Jackie Callan, who used to guide the career of James Toney, but they had a very acrimonious split-up. But Toney and McKart are pretty good mates. Could have a battle on his hands here, though. Second round, due to go 12, of course. The light middleweight championship of the world, as recognized by the World Boxing Organization, is on the line here. The 11-stone division. Very much the kingpin in this division, I think everybody would be agreed, is Terry Norris, the WBC champion. And in fact, understand Wright has had a few offers to fight Norris, which have been turned down, according to Don King, anyway.
When you heard McKart's people there, they said they've recognized the fault there. You've got to take away his jab. They realize Wright has such a good, strong jab, and they want McKart now to start pushing forward. He has to try and upset the rhythm of Wright to try and stop that jab.
That's better from McKart. Good body punching. He's usually a pretty frenetic worker, Bronco McKart. Throws a lot of leather. Good start to the contest here.
Yes, this is a very lively start. Certainly, neither man really looking to feel the other one out. They're getting straight on with the job. Both leading with a jab, and Wright just getting the better of it.
McKart formerly held the WBC International title, and one of his defences there was against the former world welterweight champion Aaron Davis, who he beat on points. A rather faded Aaron Davis, it has to be said, but a good name on his record. That's better from McKart, those body punches trying to just sap the speed and strength of Ronald Wright, the man from Florida.
Yes, McKart's got to do that. He's got to work more. He's got to mix it up more because he can't allow Wright to get set with that jab.
Good right uppercut there from Wright. Absolutely packed out the arena. In fact, they had 1,000 people just watching the weigh-in. The whole McKart fan club, a lot of his family and friends have bought the tickets, and they expect to see him win here. But it doesn't look an easy job against this skillful man, Ronald Wright.
Yes, McKart has done better work in this round, but Wright again still beating him to the punch.
Terrific combination punching there from Wright. That's better from McKart, getting through with the left hand. Good fight so far, shapes up into a decent one. Breland there, who's on the comeback trail at the moment, the old world welterweight champion who beat Lloyd Hunnigan. Recently saw him, incidentally, at the Lennox Lewis training camp. Ronald Winky Wright, the challenger. In the grey trunks here, the champion Bronco McKart, the WBO light middleweight title fight. Looks very, very focused and up for the job. Wright, he's already lost once in a world title fight. He doesn't intend to make it two. Fancies his chances quite clearly and looks extremely businesslike.
Yes, he really looks as if he's focused into this fight. Looks very, very sharp, and he's really not giving McKart a chance to get his own jab off. He's just been double quick with his own jab, Wright. Definitely a very good start from Wright.
He doesn't throw too many other punches other than that southpaw jab, but it's a very, very good one. And he's covering up well. Those punches from McKart, cheered by the crowd, but they were catching the gloves of Wright. I'm sure Wright is thinking that coming into the Lions' den here, very much away from home, that he's going to have to make absolutely certain of it on the judges' scorecards, and preferably to do it by stoppage.
That's right. He knows the popularity of McKart, and I think he obviously feels that he's going right out from the opening bell to try and take this title away from McKart. But McKart certainly has a few answers there, coming back with a good combination.
Britain's Paul Jones was stripped of this title for refusing to defend it against Bronco McKart. Claimed he had an injury, the WBO didn't buy it.
But McKart's doing better now because he's just starting to try and push Wright onto the back foot and nullify the jab a little bit. But he just needs to throw a few more punches himself.
.21 seconds to go in this, the third round. And Wright continues to look the sharper of the two in the opening exchanges here. McKart's thrown some solid punches, but in the main, he's being outworked and outspeeded by the challenger. Fourth round, WBO Light Middleweight Championship. Hometown man Bronco McKart facing you in the white trunks, defending the title against Ronald Winky Wright. from St. Petersburg on the coast of Florida. Had some good wins, Wright. Won the NABF North American Boxing Federation title against Tony Marshall, and defences against Anthony Ivory and Andrew Council. Ivory, you might remember, beat Britain's Neville Brown.
Wright really relying on his speed here. He's just trying to throw a lot more punches. He's not really looking for the hard punch, but just trying to throw a better quantity of punches.
This is a fever-pitched effort, this by Wright. Real intensity about him. Must be about 95% of his work with the southpaw jab.
Yes, right. Almost everything is with the lead punch, the right hand. He throws the jabs. Occasionally he switches it to an uppercut and a hook. But primarily he uses that jab, and a very fast and accurate jab it is. The right, he's being matched by McKart now. McKart just trying to put him on the back foot and match him for work rate.
He's not doing it though, is he?
No, he needs to do more. He needs to avoid the jab. He's just picking up too many jabs.
McKart throwing less jabs. His policy seems to be hooks to the body. Trying to slow Wright down. Wright is handled by the Birmingham brothers, John and Mike. They train him. They say his only weaknesses are pizza and girls. He's obviously still winking at the nurses.
But he's keeping up a very good work rate here, right? You feel that as it goes on, he must tire because he's throwing an awful lot of punches.
Just occasionally, McKart does get through with a decent punch, but really it's on a ratio of, I don't know, 4 or 5 to 1 it looks. Oh, good left hook by McKart there though. Didn't Wright take it well. Ready that he's going to have a real battle here to hold on to his championship.
Yes, he's had it very difficult in the first part of this fight. He's really going to try and pick it up a bit. Wright is just running away with it, just throwing a lot more punches, getting through just that little bit sharper, and he's making the most of it. McKart really has to pick his work up.
Nice guy, Bronco McKart. He apparently runs Bible classes here in Monroe, Michigan. Another fighter with religious beliefs. Didn't do Julian Jackson and George Foreman too much harm. I don't think anybody's called him the Bible puncher yet, though.
No, not yet.
This is the 5th. Champion McKart in the white trunks, left of your picture, the challenger, Ronald Wright. I have him ahead at the moment, Wright.
Yes, I've got Wright in a decent lead. McKart really needs to pick his work rate up. He's just getting outworked by that long, fast jab of Ronald Wright.
Wonder whether the judges are seeing it quite the same way.
McKart managing to get his hands up a lot of them jabs. He is catching quite a few on the gloves there.
Yes, this is better defense by McKart. He's not eating so many of them, is he, as you said then?
But now he needs to also pick his own work rate up. He's got to try and go for the body. He's got to try and sap the strength of Wright a bit. He's a good body puncher, McKart. He's got to start throwing those sort of punches.
Just dropped his work rate off a little in this round, Wright. And everything he's thrown with the jab has hit those high-held gloves of McKart. So is there a little change in the plot developing here in round 5?
Yes, I think it's just put Wright off a little bit. That McKart's just trying to be a little bit more careful with his defense, looking to catch the jabs of Wright, and now Wright's not throwing as many punches.
McKart's cornerman Bill Miller looking on, knowing it's a tough one, but McKart's done better in this round. Slightly different tactics here by Wright. He's on his bike a wee bit more, looking to throw the odd punch and then get away again, but he's done less work in this round than in any other so far.
Yes, now McKart's starting to get closer, starting to cut off the ring a little better, and as you say, there's not as much coming back from Wright. But now is where McKart needs to up his work rate, land with the solid punches.
Wright trying to pick it up in the last half minute of the round. But he's been more negative in this round, Wright.
Yes, I think the pace is just starting to get to Wright. He's thrown an awful lot, and he just looks as if he's taking a breather in this round.
And I think I'd have given McKart that one.
Yes, I think he did enough there. The pressure work was good. He cut off the corners. He landed the solider punches, but a lot less come from Wright.
You got to turn the round back and get him big. You hear me?
Okay.
Get him big.
Okay, Pop.
Let's get him. Let's go now. You got to get him back. You got this guy leading on the scorecard. All right?
Okay. Okay, Pop.
Let's go.
Well, they think they're behind in that corner.
Yes, I think he's reading the fight quite well in McKart's corner. I think he knows that was better from McKart, but he needs more work from him. And I think he now saw that Wright just slowed down a little bit. Now is the opportunity for McKart to pick the work rate up.
All this in a little town of only 23,000, a kind of satellite town of the great car city, Detroit. But these are McKart people, and they'll be very, very disappointed indeed if they've paid their money tonight to see him get beaten in his first title defense. But Ronald Winky Wright, as you've seen already, has other plans. 6th round.
But McKart's certainly looking to be a little bit more defensive. I think that's a good thing. Now he's starting to catch the jab. Just starting to block the jab, and that's working well for him, because Wright, all of a sudden, he's starting to throw less jabs.
Wright just starting to get that piston-like jab of his working again. There it is. Body punch from McKart. It's a good one. Well, we sometimes sit here and make the accusation that fighters aren't using their jab enough. You could never fire that accusation at Ronald Winky Wright.
That's right. Well, even McKart tends to use his lead hand a lot more. He's very much a jabbing type boxer. Good upright technician, very fast, very sharp there.
McKart's not doing much in this round. He's being heavily outscored by Wright's jab.
Yes, again, Wright using that jab so well, just starting to get the range. And then for the first time in a while, the long left hand came from Wright, immediately followed by the jab again.
Good lateral movement in here as well from Wright. And McKart at the moment is just looking a shade bewildered by it all. It's almost like he's mesmerized by Wright's jab in this round.
Just Wright just throwing so many jabs, he's just not allowing McKart to get off.
Wright's round. Some action from the 6th round.
And again, using the jabs from whichever. You saw how well McKart had done just to block them jabs. But again, look at how fast he uses that long rapier-like jab.
7th round. Now what can McKart do about this? I've got him 2, maybe 3 rounds behind at this point.
Yes, he needs to pick it up, certainly. He's behind. He's being outboxed. He needs to pick the way up. He's got to find some way of stopping the jab. I think he's got to try and get inside, use the body, just try and weaken the arms. That's right.
Wright, who obviously sees this as his big breakthrough night. He's got promotional ties in France. He's handled by the famous Akari's brothers. One of whom I seem to remember once called Tony Simpson. They had a riot afterwards in Paris, and they were all lucky to escape from that.
Well, again, McKart's trying to cut off the ring. He's trying to come forward, but he still just keeps walking into that lead jab. This is better from McKart, just trying to pick it up a little, go to the body a little more.
Jab and move still from Wright. And it's worked for him so far, so why shouldn't he keep doing it? Wright, who started boxing when he was 16, just for something to do, after his family had moved to Florida to escape the inner city life of Washington, D.C. He was a pretty good amateur. He won 56 out of 60, including the gold medal at the Olympic Festival. And you can see those amateur skills in action here.
You can tell he would be a very hard man to beat in the amateurs when he throws such a lot of jabs in and out. And I think McKart's problem is he's unable to get a series of punches off. He's just landing or trying to land single punches. We're really against the fast puncher like Wright. He needs to get his combinations going.
There's a really confident, almost cocky kind of air about Wright now. He looks like a man who thinks strategically he's got things under control, and it's up to McKart really to snatch the initiative away from him. Last few seconds of the 7th round, and McKart really doing nothing to get himself back into it. 8th round for the WBO light middleweight title is Bronco McKart. He's going to lose this title in front of his home fans in Monroe, Michigan.
Well, he just seems to have run out of ideas of how to get to Wright. He really has to think of something to try and stop that jab, to get past it, to land his own punches. And I think he's just waited too much. He really needs to get in there now and start to mix it up a little bit, try to make Wright now have a fight with him.
Rather in the way that you did when you were behind against Caesar Macatini in that memorable title defense, Glenn. Remember how you turned that one around? He needs something desperate like that, doesn't he?
He needs something. He needs to really just go out there, get Wright on the back foot, really just pull this fight away from him.
The 8th round, and things are getting a bit serious, I would say, for Bronco McKart, who let that right hand go low. I would think even a judge with a blindfold on here must have Wright ahead. Wouldn't bet on it, but you'd think so.
Well, even when he's boxing in McKart's hometown, you've got to feel that they will be going for Wright. He's just throwing a greater quantity of punches. You know, although McKart has caught quite a few of the jabs, so many are still getting through.
At the moment, McKart is looking dangerously like a fighter who's run out of ideas. And he's up against a pretty durable man here, too, in Wright. There's not too much hope of taking him out with one shot or anything like that. Because remember, he went the distance with Julio Cesar Vasquez, even though he was on the floor 6 times in the fight in his previous world title attempt, Wright.
Again, McKart is pushing forward. He's trying to get off with hooks from time to time. But still, just the greater quantity of jabs are landing from McKart.
Well, he's walking forward, McKart, but he's not doing anything.
That's
when he
right.
walks forward.
He needs to throw punches. He needs to feed. He needs to do something.
That's Jackie Callan, McKart's manager, and looking a little concerned, as well she might.
Now that was better for McKart as he got a series of punches going. Good concentration from Wright. He really found his rhythm here.
Well, Wright's in charge, all right. Well, they've been showing Bronco McKart, the champion, pictures of his late grandfather, holding them in front of his face. Apparently he was in the military, and they're obviously desperately trying to motivate him now.
Yes, they know he really has to lift his performance here. He's got to bring something else out.
Well, there you are. That's what happened between the rounds. Jackie Callan, the manager, showing him the pictures. So they obviously feel that desperate situations require desperate measures.
But it's very difficult. When a fighter just can't get into gear, it's very difficult midway through a fight for him then to pick up the pace and slip into the right gear. And he just can't quite do it, McKart. But I think that the answer is that Wright always has that jab in his face. He's always keeping McKart off balance.
That reminds me of when Mickey Duff had the priest in the corner with John Mugabe, and he kept saying, if you won't listen to me, listen to the father.
That's
Remember
right.
that?
That's right. Often managers, trainers have done things like that, have taken steps like that to try and motivate a fighter, to try and spark something up in his subconscious that'll bring the best out of him.
Yes, so an examples of fighters who've been told, how are you going to tell your children in the morning that you've lost your world title? And that sometimes has done the trick.
Yes, I remember Angelo Dindi telling Sugar Ray Leonard that he was blowing it was all over, you're blowing it, kid. And he came back to knock Thomas Hearns out.
Meanwhile, in round 9 here, a very confident and increasingly confident Wright. McKart starting to let the hooks go. He really does need to gamble, you feel.
And this is a little better for McKart, just starting to pick it up, catching a few of the jabs there, but again, Wright just lifts his performance. A really good performance from Wright.
Is this the big night for Ronald Wright, the 24-year-old from Florida? Obviously prepared very meticulously for this long and hard ride. He came in at 10 stone 12, 2 pounds under the limit.
Yes, he's obviously done lots of road work. He's worked that heavy jab so hard with the jab, but he's moving well. He's really got his gear, got his rhythm here.
He's giving McKart a boxing lesson for my money here. Now, didn't connect there. Some of the crowd thought he did. Bell went in between all that all. That the fans are holding up, not in our house. I think they mean that Wright isn't going to take away the title in McKart's backyard, but I wouldn't put a lot of money on that being right myself at the moment.
Well, I've got Wright in about a 4-round lead here, so really McKart needs to do something a little bit special. He needs some very good work if he's going to keep the title.
More than that, he needs a knockout if his scorecard's right. And
that's right, he needs to win inside the distance. But he's picking it up, he's starting this round. I think somebody's told him he needs a knockout.
Bronco, ain't no more tomorrow. Look here, let's get back out there, y'all.
Well, that was what Bill Miller was saying to McKart between the rounds. There ain't no more tomorrow. The speed of Wright has worked so well for him. That's better from McKart, but he needs more of it. Quite a lot more, in fact. Wright must have covered miles in that ring tonight, finding angles to throw his high-velocity jabs.
Yes, I think that's the answer. He's moved so well. He's kept changing the angle, changing direction, but he's also used the jab constantly as he's done that. And now really, a fighter, it's so difficult to get set when there's a punch constantly landing in your face.
Been a disappointing performance, really, from McKart in front of his home fans, because you'd think that a top world-class operator would have found a few more answers than this.
Yes, you would have thought he could have. He's just been a little bit one-paced. I think his people realize that. That's why they tried so hard to motivate him. They know there's something else in there. They know he can lift this game, but at this moment, he just can't do that.
Whatever they're doing in the corner, it isn't working. But give full credit to Ronald Wright's performance here in his second world title attempt. We have him a long way ahead, and it's getting late, very late, 10th round. Now that's better from McKart, starting to let the leather fly. Good atmosphere between the fighters. But the crowd are really trying to lift McKart to a special big finale.
McKart got a little bit more fire in his belly in that round. He tried to have a fight, and he did a lot better. Just looking as if Wright was starting to tire a little.
Got body inside. Work. Don't pull back out in range. Got to go around the liver. But stay close. Don't grab him. Don't grab him. More than he got for 2 more rounds.
How do you score that last round? Difficult one. Might have been even,
It could have been even. I think McKart maybe even just stole it. He just looked to try and throw more. He looked to try and have a fight. And I think Wright was just a little more tight in that round.
Come on, 2 rounds. You're the champion.
Well, he's obviously not been eating too much of that pizza that we're told he's fond of. Pizza and girls, his weaknesses, they say. 1 or 2 fighters have trained in nightclubs down the years. Some of them quite successfully as well. Round 11 coming up. Wright trying to get back behind that jab and landing 4 thumping ones with it, but McKart's getting closer.
You just wonder why McKart didn't try this a little earlier. He just left it a little bit late unless he can land a big punch. But this is certainly better for McKart.
Well, that's where he needs to be, isn't he? Right on top of Wright, denying him any room for those jabs and hammering away the punches. he does walk forward, though, he walks onto that sickening telegraph pole of a jab that keeps popping out almost as if it's electronically operated.
And McKart rolling forward now, trying to land these big hooks. But again, the jab just settles him down from Wright. He just keeps everything under control with that jab.
And frankly, Wright has managed to get this far and this close to being a world champion simply on speed and southpaw jab. And of course, a lot of heart and fighting ability and great conditioning too.
Yes, and also the concentration to do that, to keep to your game plan so much like he has throughout this fight has been tremendous from Wright. He knows what he's had to do in this fight, and he's just done it perfectly, and he's continued to do it.
Well, I reckon the guys who run the computers, if they gave us a count out on how many jabs Wright has thrown here, he may well be a candidate for the Guinness Book of Records.
Yes, he's worked this punch so well.
Last half a minute of the 11th round. The problem for McKart is that his successes are spasmodic.
And McKart has tried to push forward in this round, but I think Wright has done enough just to certainly share the round.
More than that, I'd say.
Yes, you're probably right there. Well, McKart thought it was his round, but I thought the worst way it was a shared round. Wright certainly kept his work rate going, kept picking with the jab through all of McKart's work.
3 minutes to go. And Ronald Wright, he's tired now, but he's close. Very close, unless there is going to be some huge miscarriage of justice.
Don't let him hustle. Don't think around. Non-stop push-ups. There's no tomorrow. We can let it all hang out.
They support boxing. It's a great time.
Non-stop. Come on. Breathe. You want this belt? Right. All right, well, let's get it this round. You're winning this fight. You're winning this fight. You're in this hometown. You got to win convincingly. Come on.
Yeah, it's interesting there, the mention of the fact that they are in the other fellow's hometown. They think they are winning the fight, and I think any neutral would agree with them. The trouble is, there aren't too many neutrals around here.
That's right, and that's always a dangerous thing. He still can't be sure. He's bound to know that he's done so well in this fight, but he's still got to go there and try and have a very good last round.
Well, McKart has been told by his corner, you've got to knock him out. I'm sure almost fever-pitch excitement among some of the fans. I don't know how they're scoring this. I'm sure a lot of them may fondly imagine that it's closer than it is. That must, though, be preying, I would think, on the back of Wright's mind. I'm winning this fight, but am I going to be given it?
Yes, he's got to put all that out of his mind. He's just got to think of one thing, and that's winning this round.
Well, McKart really didn't need that. He wanted to keep the pressure on. Build up a head of steam. And he's just given Wright another little chance to freshen up his legs and get on his bike again. Good right hand from McKart, into a slap with the left. It's more like it from him, but it is extremely late in the plot.
Wright looking a little more tired now. For the first time looking to hold. A good pressure from McKart, but you wonder why he didn't try this, why he didn't try to pick the pace up a lot earlier in the fight.
McKart gets through again with the hooks. Maybe one or two little ominous signs for Wright, who I think is coasting down towards that final bow now. Or he hopes so anyway. I think he feels he's got this in the bag and just needs to stay on his feet. And frankly, if there's any justice, that should be the way of it.
Yes, I think Wright doesn't want to be careless in this last round. He's just trying to cover up here. Just trying to ride out the storm. There's a lot of pressure coming from McKart now. And obviously Wright doesn't want to get tagged. He must think he's leading.
Shorts almost falling down. Wright caught with the right hand again. He's done very little in this round, but the object, as far as he's concerned, has simply been to just stay in there and try and stay out of trouble. He's even cocky enough to do a little bit of the old showboating as the final bell goes. McKart won the last round, but I don't think he's won the fight, no matter what these fans may say.
But McKart seems to think he's won the fight.
Well, I would say he's living in the land of make-believe, but we've seen some odd things in boxers' hometowns. Here it comes now.
We have a split decision. Bernard Teachout scored it 115-113 to Wright. Mark Nelson scored the bout 116-113 McKart. And finally, Gordon Volcom scored it 115-113 to the winner by split decision and new WBO champion.
Wright's got it. Justice has prevailed. The crowd don't like it.
Winky,
but a very,
Wright.
very deserved winner. And Judge Mark Nelson really must have been watching a different contest to score that to McKart. New champion, Ronald Wright.